Hello and welcome to another SGR Coffee Break. This is episode number 10, which by Carrie standards now means this is a real thing.
It is a real thing. Although I'm not drinking coffee today. Today I got some hot chocolate because it's cold.
Hot chocolate. So you got a little clue
Well,
in there?
I wasn't gonna go out to Starbucks today in the ice, and I don't really have any coffee in the house, and so I got hot chocolate.
I
Mm,
hope there's Kahlua or some sort of Irish whiskey or something in there.
I don't have any Kahlua in the house or any Baileys.
What the hell kind of drunk are you?
A terrible one.
That's
I was like,
horrible.
I've been wanting that for podcasting at night lately. I just want, like because we have chocolate milk in the house because the baby likes drinking chocolate milk. I was like, oh, some Baileys or Kahlua and chocolate milk, and nope, don't have any of it.
Oh, good times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm a terrible drunk. It's okay.
Man,
Hot chocolate.
I mean, I have like a
Mm.
drop of coffee in here, and the rest of it's just freaking straight up moonshine. It's pretty awesome.
Wow, I am impressed.
Yeah.
It's not even noon.
It's noon on the East Coast. Well, it's 11:56, I guess, out there. Close enough, round up.
I guess if you want to go to Newfoundland, Canada, it's noon there. Does that make you feel better?
Ah, there we go. See?
There. Okay. Yeah.
So what are
Yay.
we talking about this week?
We are talking about collector's editions because I just got the Order 1886 collector's edition. Not the guide because there's not one for the guide, but for the game. And my boss made a joke this week about how I sit upon my throne built of collector's editions and plot on stabbing people. And I was like, what if I could build a throne out of my collector's editions? And I can. I need to take a photo of it. I need to take a photo of me sitting in it because I can sit in it. And so obviously I do like collector's editions. So I just started thinking about who likes collector's editions, who buys them. Do you just buy every single one? Do you have a rule about buying it? So obviously, there's not for just for strategy guides because I love my collector's editions as strategy guides as well. So
Okay.
Chris and I will fight over them if I end up getting just one.
There has
But
been blood. There has been blood.
there has been blood. Oh man, if there is one for Zelda Wii U, there will be blood.
I'm sorry, Sean, but Carrie's going to have to go at that point.
I'll just fly down here just for that.
Just for that.
just,
You know
just to
what?
bludgeon me with it.
I don't even have to fly. I'll walk if I have to. I will walk there to take that guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's some dedication.
that
Are
is.
you dedicated to any other collector's editions besides that?
Well, let's see. I did just pre-order that big ass $150 collector's edition of Mortal Kombat 10.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yep.
It's the one that's that statue
Yeah, the
designed by
Scorpion statue.
what's his name?
Oh, I forget. All I know is the statue looked really awesome. It's like I gotta have that statue. It will look great on my desk.
Well, it's because there's two different collector's editions
Yeah,
with two
there's
different statues. There's one statue by this certain name guy, and then there's another one that's not him.
right, and from what I understand is the more cartoony Scorpion statue is the one that we're getting in the States, and then the more like true to form statue is only available in Europe, if I remember
I
correctly.
think it's the other way around.
Yeah, well, either way, I like both statues, so it really doesn't matter. I'm getting a Scorpion statue one way or the other.
All right.
That's really all that matters to me. And you get the season pass, so I get some of the DLC characters that'll be coming up later on.
Is it the DLC pass or is it called like the combo pass or something
Uh,
with a K because it's
okay,
hardcore?
I probably some ridiculous thing, but I actually, going back to the first couple things, is I think one of the big things for me as far as collector's editions go is I do actually have rules for it. Like, um, I generally don't buy collector's editions for a new IP because
Hmm.
to me it's like there is no, they're just doing that to milk money out of people,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to buy a collector's edition for a game that I may or may not like.
Hmm.
So I generally try to refrain from that. So the collector's editions that I have, I mean, the most notable ones that I have bought is I did the StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm.
Okay.
So did that one. I did the Guild Wars 2 one. I just pre-ordered the Mortal Kombat 10 one. But you know, I did the did I do East? Yeah, I did East, and I think I did Miramasa, the Miramasa Rebirth on the Vita.
Oh, I don't think I got that one. I'm actually surprised because I really loved it on the Wii.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what really makes a collector's edition like an instant buy, it's not so much the like here's a little trinket or here's your season pass. Uh, I look for the things that they add in to kind of bring the game outside of the game. So I really dig the art books,
Hmm.
and I really dig when they include their soundtrack. That's
Hmm.
and with Muramasa, you got like an art book, you got a Vita little case, like cloth case that you could shove that in with the
Oh,
star
man, I'm really disappointed I didn't get that now.
the Guild Wars 2 one. I got like a giant statue that
Hmm.
sits in my bedroom. Uh, and you got some really nice prints from on the Guild Wars 2 one, like the artwork. They
Hmm.
did, I think, like 10 prints, and they were, I don't know, they're about this big.
Yeah,
So they're, I don't know, like 12
that's pretty
inches.
nice.
So, I mean, and they were printed on nice, thick stock paper. Print looked really good. It's artwork that you could actually hang up and not have people go, "Why the fuck do you have that?" Because it actually, it's all nice, serene, fantasy kind of scene looking, and so that's what I mean. If I'm looking at a collector's edition, like obviously when I said with the Mortal Kombat 10 thing, I obviously went for the statue, right? Because let's face it, it's a scorpion statue, and whichever statue I get, they're both pretty awesome. Plus,
Yeah,
you get the skin for the in-game character, um, and
that emulates the statue.
I believe you also got I believe they also have an art book too.
Well, I just pulled up the news article I wrote
There you go.
for those collector's editions, and so the collector's edition you got is a collector's edition with a K because it's very important for the Mortal Kombat people. Is that the Scorpion is designed by Course, so it might mean something in the statue world. The Combat Pass, which is a season pass of 4 additional characters, and an endgame skin of the Gold Scorpion. Now, there is another collector's edition that is Europe only. There's a statue that's not designed by Course. It comes with a steelbook case, a comic book, the endgame skin, and the season pass.
Yeah, when I went to go order it, they even like you wrote that article. I went that day, I believe,
Oh
to
yeah,
GameStop because you can only get it at GameStop. It's exclusive to them. So
yes it is. Yes it is.
I went there and the girl's like, "Oh, let me see if we have any left." And it's like, "You better. This is just announced." She's like, "Oh, look, we can get you one." Okay, good.
You plop down your credit card and like, yay! Okay, it's gonna suck come. Was it April, May? Forget when
Uh,
it comes out. April, I think.
so I love Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal
Right.
Kombat and I love Street Fighter. So to me, that was well justified. Just like I really love StarCraft. So those
Hmm.
collector's editions are very well worth it to me. Guild Wars was pretty fun too. So I was happy to do that one. Um, something such as Bloodborne, even though it's from software, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it, even if they had a collector's edition, I'm not plopping down money for that because I have no idea. I mean, yeah, it's Dark Souls set in steampunk, but
Hmm.
again, it's a new IP from
Yeah.
them that could be great or it could totally blow. So I'm not going to give them now if it's a great game and they come out with Bloodborne 2 and there's a collector's edition, you sure as hell better believe that I'm going to plop down $150 for a collector's edition.
What if it's like an $80 collector's edition that includes like the steelbook case and the soundtrack and an art book?
Uh, that one, that one's little. You know, if I'm gonna do that one, that's usually when I start looking at the actual game art and the concept art, because then it kind
Hmm.
of gives you an idea of what you might get in the art book.
Right.
Um, if they give you like the season pass and soundtrack, it, to me it's only $20 more for the game, right? And you get a nice art book. The
Hmm.
steel case, I've only ever kept two steel cases. Uh, One of them was Thief, and one of them was Dark Souls 2.
That's right, because you don't even keep the boxes, do you?
Nope.
That's right. Okay. So the steel case is not that big of a deal to you.
It generally isn't. The Thief one I kept because, well, the game was the steel case itself was really cool, so it looks really nice on the
Hmm.
bookcase. And Dark Souls 2 had like a really nice raised front, and it was Dark Souls 2. Let's just face
Yeah.
it. So yeah, whenever they're like steel case, I'm like, okay, whatever. That doesn't really do anything for me. Art books, no, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for me, like the steel case, I'm not into the steel cases. Like, I think they're cool, but that's not a make or break for me. The make or break for me is usually what I'll just go ahead and plop down my money is when I see their soundtrack and or an art book. Um, that's typically all that it takes. And I've been disappointed before because I bought a collector's edition for something, swearing it had one of those things, and then when it came, it did not. So I was got to remember, like when I buy these things, I gotta keep refreshing like what's in it because I usually pre-order them so far in advance, I totally forget. Because like for I think it was Lightning Returns, I swore an art book came with it, and it did not. It's this massive box, but the only thing that came with it was the soundtrack. And what they did was they actually gave you the original disc. So there's 4 discs, I think, and they had it kind of in a nice presentation. That's why the box was so big because it took up all this room. But so I typically also have a rule that I do not buy for new IPs, but I broke it this last week with the Order 1886. That's the first time I've ever bought a collector's edition for a brand new IP. And the only thing I have in my defense, I guess, which is barely a defense, is that when the game was shown at E3 2 years ago, I was just beside myself in excitement. Victorian England, it looks amazing, and it's steampunk and alternate history. It has all these things, and um, so I pre-ordered it, and then I found out Jason Graves was, composing the soundtrack, which just made me excited because it came with the soundtrack, and it did come with an art book. And so I was probably spent way too much money on for a brand new IP, especially since I'm not exactly enjoying the game. So this is a total, yeah, it's like, serves you right. You shouldn't have spent this much. Now, what I have pre-ordered currently is technically a new IP, but yet not. I have Final Fantasy Type Zero Collector's Edition pre-ordered. I'm a Final Fantasy fan, so that's even though Type Zero is a brand new IP, it's still part of the series. So, and The Witcher 3.
Let's
But
face it.
I,
You
but
need
I,
Witcher 3 because of the statue.
I did because it's amazing. Because they had it at E3 last year, and they showed what was all going to be in it. Like, okay, yeah, I'm in it, and it's not half naked as my boss thinks. He thinks I got it because it's a half naked Geralt, and it's not. People think I'm so perverted. It's because I like Cullen and stuff. Jeez, like I have naked Cullen hanging everywhere. People think the worst of me.
You are a horrible person.
Mm-mm.
You are so sexist.
Uh, no, but wait. Maybe I am. I'm looking at all my figures, like it's all men. I got Arno and Geralt over there, and
Mhm.
now I have Galahad back there fighting a werewolf, which the statue for that is okay. It's a little more gruesome than I was counting on, and my son came in and saw it, and he was like, "Why is there blood all over that?" I'm like, yeah, sorry, kid. It's a werewolf. I didn't think werewolves were mean. Yes, werewolves are mean.
Oh, son, you have a lot to learn yet.
Yeah. So like, oh look, kid, look at the amiibos. Look at these new amiibos my friend of mine picked up for me. Look at these. Stop looking at the big scary statue in the back. Yeah. Um, but you did not get the Memories of Salsida collector's edition,
Hmm.
did you?
Hmm.
Okay, I couldn't. You didn't say that, so I'm not sure if you'd gotten that one. That one was
I
actually pretty cool.
I just dropped the. I got East.
You
I got
got
the
oh, you got
East.
East.
I got East.
I'm bummed now I didn't get the Muramasa one. Now hearing you talk about that, and if there is a Zelda collector's edition, which Nintendo doesn't really do that.
Mm-mm.
Now that I think about
I've
it,
never actually had a collector's edition on Nintendo.
I don't. No, I mean I know there will be a strategy
Oh
guide.
wait, no. There was uh Zelda Skyward Sword. I believe when that came out, their
There was.
collector's edition is like when you got that on the Wii, you got the gold Wiimote with the uh, Hyrule symbol on it because that had the Wii Motion Plus,
Okay.
and the box was gold. I do. They kind of went back to that whole Zelda 1, Zelda 2 thing where it was all gold.
Okay.
So I think that's about as close as we were going to get to a collector's edition. Plus, you have all like, but to me, that's more. I wouldn't say collectors. It's just themed, kind of like you have
Yeah.
the special 3DSs now where they're coming out in different themes.
Which that may be the closest thing they'll do to a collector's edition.
Yeah,
You get, your themed 3DS with the game, or the themed Wii U with the game.
yeah. Well, now I can almost see them going a route where you'll get like a special amiibo
Yeah, I can see that too.
where because that's going to get collectors all up in a hype as we've already
Hmm.
seen with the amiibo addiction going on. So
Yeah, and like looking at like the fall releases. See, I actually can't believe I got the Assassin's Creed Unity collector's edition since I didn't get the collector's edition with Assassin's Creed 3. I got the limited edition, which had this steel book, which they obviously printed before the game was finalized because it has a rating pending on it, which is funny because in the case has the M. It's like, what's wrong with you people? Um, but especially since I hadn't liked Assassin's Creed in so long, it was like a big risk in doing that. But I ended up loving Unity, so that one panned out. Um, see, let me look at what's upcoming that I might get a collector's edition for. Let's see. Oh, well, let's see. We got Halo. Yes, I've gotten Halo. I got the Halo 4 collector's edition. That was awesome. So I don't regret that. So many things are coming out and aren't listed of when they're releasing. It's kind of crazy.
yeah,
They'll probably do another one for Assassin's Creed, which I'll have to like think about. If they do one for the new Lego games, I will, because I did the collector's edition for Lego Batman 3, which wasn't that big of a deal. It's more like a little limited edition. I think you paid like $5 or $10 more, and you got like a little Lego keyring.
yeah. They do that with all the like the DS, 3DS games. There's one box that always you can get just the game, but then they have a thicker one
Hmm.
that comes with like a little Lego minifigure that along with it,
Yeah, yeah.
which is always tempting to me. It's so
Because I
hard to
think
resist
actually
though.
with Lego Lord of the Rings, I got Elrond, because then I gave
Yep.
that one to you.
See, he's right here, right on my desk.
Oh. I bet there will be a collector's edition for Rise of the Tomb Raider, just
Oh,
because Tomb
probably.
Raider did so well. And they're actually the Strategy Guide company did a really awesome collector's edition for the Strategy Guide, where it was this nice hardback and actually came with a replica of her necklace,
Oh,
which I,
nice.
which I never expect. Like Strategy Guides, collector's editions, I expect it's going to be like hardcover, maybe have little extra sections in it, like for extra art or interviews or something. Maybe like the Uncharted 3 one actually came with a fold out map and the soundtrack,
Mhm.
which is probably one of my favorite collector's editions today, just because it came with the soundtrack, and I was not expecting that one.
Yeah.
So I'm looking. I'm
Do you ever
still
get a
looking
game with a
for.
cloth map? Like when you buy a collector's edition, it comes with a cloth map. Do you ever keep the cloth map?
I have the cloth map. It came with the Dragon Age Inquisition one.
Hmm.
It's a huge cloth map, and maybe when I'm done with Dragon Age, I might frame it. And I want to say Silcita came with one as well. Came with a cloth map.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
If it did, it's already tucked away downstairs.
Oh, well, usually I keep everything in the collector's edition. Like I rarely ever take any of the stuff out because I always like to keep it all together. Oh, there will be one for Uncharted 4. I can almost guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a big IP for them,
Yeah.
and it'll probably be. So here's a question: what are your make and break points at pricing?
Um, Typically, I don't like going over $100. And I say that, and I've gone 150 these last couple. Like The Witcher 3 was 150, and The Order was 150, and I really regret spending that much on the Order one. Um,
But
but typically,
The Witcher one makes sense though, because isn't that statue? It's like a hand done statue,
yeah,
and there's only X amount of them. This isn't like a massively produced one where
right, right. I
that's the
mean,
other thing that drives me nuts is when they're massively produced and you can just tell like
hmm
it's collector's edition, but what's the collectible value of it when you can go to the store at any point in time and just find it?
right. Because I did get the collector's edition for Gears of War 3, but I didn't get the Uber collector's edition because they did two. They had one that actually had like a whole bunch of stuff I didn't realize were in it because I hadn't really opened it up and I didn't look past the big cog that was in there. They had like the cog medal that Marcus's dad won. And so if you open that up behind that, it has an engraving on that. It has a number of how many there are of those.
Oh wow.
And then there's a whole bunch of papers in there that were his diary, his father's diary, and photographs and things like that. So that was really, really neat. But if you got the Ultimate Collector's Edition, you also got the statue of Marcus, and that was for like another $30. So it was like $129.99.
Isn't that the one where like he's kneeling down with one knee and he's got the gun like this and he's just kind of like
Okay,
he's got that warrior pose thing going
if
on?
it was, I probably would have gotten it, but it was not. It was
Oh,
just of him aiming his the lancer.
yeah.
And I am not a huge I like Marcus Phoenix, but he's not my favorite character from the game. So it just was not enough for me to shell out another $30. Like I really have to analyze it, but typically I try not to go over $100 because that's a lot of money as it is.
There's just on the statue front, the Mortal Kombat one. I'm really excited for the Scorpion, right? Because let's face it, Scorpion is like the cornerstone for Mortal Kombat. But I really wish that would have been Scorpion and Sub-Zero in like some sort of fighting pose.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cherry. But I'm guessing MKX1, that's what
hmm
we'll get. Maybe we'll see a Sub-Zero, and then you can put the two together. Now you'll have your fighting. That'd be awesome.
Now, would you spend another $50 for that?
Oh yeah. I'm a, I, I'm I'm a like there's something about statues that I just especially when they're gaming related and I mean while I played a lot of Street Fighter,
hmm
MK is my deep dark secret. I love the games. I like their lore. I like what's going on. I like the characters in it, even though they got lazy in the games and it's just a reskin of all the ninjas. But you know
Lazy.
it was like yeah. I mean, my brother and we had that whole Super Nintendo Sega Genesis battle, and the only time I could ever let him have that battle won is every time he'd fire up his original Mortal Kombat and it had blood, like the big
Uh-huh.
goopy drops of blood, and I'd play it on my SNES and there was nothing. It's like you'd hit somebody and like, where's the blood? There's nothing.
No.
I don't. So yeah,
Nice to know what your priorities are. It's like, well, you don't turn off the persistent gore in Dragon Age either.
it's so funny. I killed trees. Now it's all bloody from trees. It should be covered in sap or something.
Well, maybe the sap is red.
Yeah, right. I've
Well,
watched Lord of the
you're
Rings.
talking about trees that walk. The sap could be red. Come on.
Nope, I'm having a hard time sucking that one down.
So you're
I
gonna
can't.
accept you're gonna accept walking trees, but not the possibility of red sap.
Hey, I've watched Lord of the Rings. Ents are real.
These are called Sylvans,
They're Ents.
but
Let's
they're
face it,
not Ents. They're not
they're
as
Ents.
cool, and they're not as big, and they're evil.
Well, hey, evil Ents are cool too.
Yeah, they're called trolls. Did you read Lord of the Rings? That's where the trolls came from. Okay, well now we're digressing.
Yeah.
But so have you been playing Dragon Age this week, or did you put it down? Did you put down your killing of virtual people for a little while?
Uh, I have a so we all know that I've been playing Elite Dangerous. I did finish off Dying Light. I finished that off on Friday.
Oh, cool.
And I say this because it ties in. And hopefully I'll have the guide done this week. It will depend on where my mind state is at this week because I just got some bad news this morning. So
Hmm.
uh, finish that off, and I was like, man, I was debating. I was like, okay, so I should play more Dragon Age, and it's like, oh man, I'm going to Carrie's house. I should really finish off Wonderful 101, so that way at least I can take that off my stack of shame and return that to her, and I don't have to have it just constantly in the back of my head. So I debated this out for a while, and eventually I just gave up, went and had a drink, and went to bed. So
All right.
Saturday morning, I wake up and I'm like, okay, let's play some Wonderful 101. But I started talking to my old roommate, and we started talking about Diablo 3. And on the PC, I haven't fired up on the PS4 yet, so I really don't know how if this still holds true over there. But anyway, he's talking about his season 2 character. So he had just made a season 2 character because season 2 just released last Tuesday, I want to say it was, on Diablo 3. So anybody that doesn't know how the seasons work is it's basically you start off a new character, you get to try out all the new loots. They do some new patching and stuff like that, and it's just for the season characters. And then there's ladders, and I'll never be on the ladders and all that. So you like race through grid rifts, and you set times, and it puts you on this ladder position. You try to get to the top, and yada yada yada. The big thing about it is like you get to try out all the new weapons and new armors that they're getting ready to release. And once the season closes, all that stuff is migrated over to the general game, and then you play that for a little bit, and then there's like another patch coming out for season 3 in a couple months. So we were talking about it, and I started watching some people. I've been watching one of the streamers for a couple days since he started doing it, and he's one of the guys that actually places on the ladder. And the addiction got also like I could feel the vein pumping. Like I was like, oh shit, it's tapping. It's like I got out the little rubber hose and tightened it up around my arm. I was like, well, fuck it. I'll roll a season 2 character. I'll play it, and then I'm gonna go make myself breakfast, take a shower, and then I'll start playing Wonderful 101. So 4 hours later, I finally go and make myself breakfast and take a shower, and like literally just put my pajama pants back on, came back, and fired up my game. So between him and another friend, I got like level 70 within 4 hours.
Oh my god! You're gonna love the power leveling.
Oh yeah, they were just like, well, just stay there and do all this. So I'm like now Paragon 70 something. No.
Holy crap!
Ran a bunch of so I called this the D3 Goodbye Weekend Edition because like any plan I had, I threw it out the window. I was like, oh god, the addiction is real again. So unfortunately, yeah, everything else took a hiatus. Dragon Age. I thought about my little dwarf my evil dwarf, and then I got a shiny new legendary that dropped, and it's like, oh, shiny. So
Oh.
it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to see the changes between the last time that I actually played it pretty hardcore to now. So that's been pretty cool. Running Greater Rifts again has been pretty fun, and just having all that stuff tie in. I'm playing on like Torment 4 now.
Holy crap!
I'm almost maxed. I'm almost up to Torment 6. So, and then like yesterday, we had a bunch of friends. We all just jumped on a Skype kind of call, and we were talking shit to each other, and it was really fun because in the 2 or 3 hours that we were all playing together, I started off where I was barely hitting anything, and when I did, I would get like 30,000 damage, and now I'm up to 7 million damage. So,
Right. Wow.
yeah,
That's impressive.
The addiction is real again.
Yeah, I'm still like 2 point something million away from getting my last trophy in the original D3, but my problem is with the original D3s, that's not as fun as the Ultimate Evil for whatever reason. It's just not as fun. So
I think a lot of it is the whole adventure mode. You can just jump on, run a bounty, actually feel like you've done something.
Yeah, so I'm just, so what I've decided to do to make it a little more interesting, that I'm just so tired of playing with my Demon Hunter, I just starting new characters and just going through the game so that therefore, I get all these characters up to level 60 and I can import it over to the Ultimate Evil Edition, and then I'm already like, so really, really close to getting that trophy for getting everybody up to level 70.
Yep.
So that's my thought. I'm hoping to make it a little more entertaining to get it. If I can't get to 5 million gold by playing through 6 characters all the way through up to level 60, then it's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah. So
So what
that's
have you been playing?
well, I have not been playing D3. The last I played D3 was the last time we did the podcast at night, so that was 2 weeks ago. And it's actually gotten to the point that I have that memorized. Like, I've played it so drunk and just been hitting X and just, like I can barely see the screen and I'm still getting through it just fine. And
Hey, we tried to do that at 6 o'clock that morning on our Extra
but,
Life event, and we were both just going through the motions. We were
yeah,
just like, yeah.
the problem was we were playing hardcore, though, so it wasn't like, we could just really sleep through it and
Yeah,
restart.
but we were still pretty much just going. It was just like, yeah, gotta go here. Okay, kill this. Yeah,
Yeah,
done. Okay, go
yeah,
here. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
8 more.
Just need to stand up or do something. Yeah. But so I did play a little bit more Dragon Age before I got the order in, and then I took out the disc and I gave the disc to my husband. I was like, I cannot play Dragon Age until I turn in my review for Homeworld Remastered. So I got the order on Saturday because my order with Amazon got messed up, so I didn't get it on release day. So I've played about 4 or 5 hours of it. Um, and according to the chapter count in the strategy guide, I am chapter-wise halfway through. Now, I don't know how long those chapters are, but the game breaks my heart because everything it does is mechanically sound. Like the gameplay is solid. Nothing sticks. Nothing feels weird. What they set out to do, you can do it. There's no glitches in that. Visually, it's beautiful. There's no texture popping. There are no glitches. There is nothing wrong with how the game looks, and it's more like playing a cinematic than Uncharted 2 was. Because Uncharted 2, when Uncharted 2 first came out, I had that experience of not realizing it was I got to play, and then I ended up falling off something. I was like, oh crap, well, I guess I was supposed to climb up at that point. Because sometimes there would be an obvious cutscene because it would fade to black, but
Mhm.
other times the cutscene would finish out and you weren't sure if it was your turn if it was time to go. This one is seamless. Like, it goes in and out of cutscenes so that
Wow.
you never know. And so there's times all of a sudden I'm just standing there, like, oh, okay, now it's time for me to move. But what I'm going to put in my review is that this is a interesting blend of Gears of War and Heavy Rain. And the reason why I say Heavy Rain is not because of the choices, because there's no choices in this, but it's how much they feel like they want you to, and they feel like maybe they're leaving you behind with the game too much, so they want you to interact in cutscenes where it feels like there's no point in doing so. Because I can barely call them quick time events, because my idea of a quick time event is it's usually like button press here, button press here. There's certain combinations you kind of have to do, and this is just suddenly here you press triangle. Now you button mash X. I mean, occasionally there's a real quick time event where you have to use the right stick to dodge
Mhm.
certain things, but that's as closest as it gets. And there's other things okay, now you have to press. The reason I say Heavy Rain is because you get to a door, it's press this to open this door, press this to look at the glasses, which is what you did in Heavy Rain. You had to actually physically do those motions. So the way I'm seeing this game is that they wanted the story and they wanted the cinematic experience so bad, and they also wanted it to be a shooter, and they didn't exactly know how to make it work. And I was talking to a friend before I got the game, and we were saying, because people were complaining how nothing it did was innovative, and it's but we were both saying, well, Spec Ops: The Line was not innovative either, but the story was so amazing, you didn't care. And so we had hopes for this, and unfortunately, the story it's trying. I'm at the point I'm not really intrigued what's going on, but I just have this bad feeling it's just going to be kind of a predictable disappointment. In many ways, this game comes across as a tech demo for the PS4.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
It's very but like I'm only, like I said, like about halfway through possibly the game, so it can still wow me. But this would have been so much better if it released right when the PS4 released. Because you know how like a lot of the games, like for the Vita when it first released, you had all those games that were like try to use every single little element,
Yup.
and that's what this kind of feels like it tries to do. So
Harsh.
yeah,
That sucks.
yeah, it really does. But I'm
Well,
not gonna have
hopefully.
final judgment on it until I finish the story. Although with Spec Ops, it kept you just hanging,
Oh
and
yeah.
you just because you had no idea what was going on, and this one doesn't have that same. I have to know. I have to know. Like I just got last night to the point where I was like, oh, well, now I'm really intrigued, and that's like what 4 or 5 hours in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a long time by today's game standards.
Well, it's a long time for an action game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into like how short it is. Everyone's complaining how short it is. Like, well, action games are all short, and my big thing is I don't care if the game is short if it's tightly packed in and it's done well, because that's better than any game that's extremely padded. You know.
Mhm.
So,
Well, hopefully
but
it works out a little better then.
yeah, hopefully I'll finish it today and I can get it my review, and hopefully I won't be drinking sorrow too much over how much money I've spent on it for seemingly nothing. And the sad thing is, reviewing the strategy guide, I feel really bad for these strategy guide writers. Well, I feel bad and yet I don't, because he had the easiest job in the world. He really did in writing this, because as my friend and I were talking earlier, there's not much game to it to really write a strategy for. So he detailed the boss fights pretty well, and if you want to get all the collectibles, this will do it. But do you need a strategy guide to get through the game? I don't think so, because it's just that linear and that basic.
That's some harsh stuff right there. That's pretty rough.
Yeah. So it's really good thing that Ross canceled his pre-order, because he'd be miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, I could hear him whining now.
Although he'd probably watch the cinematics over and over again because they are beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, that's all he did on Witcher 2, so.
He's never finishing that game. I don't care what he says. He's never finishing.
He's not.
Yeah, but we're finishing this because I got to go. And we're having an ice day today, and I think my kids probably want some lunch or something. They're kind of needy. Well, at least the husband's downstairs taking care of them.
Oh.
What?
Let's wrap this up so we go
Hmm.
deal with your needy children.
Yeah, kids are needy. I didn't get that in the handbook that they need stuff like food. I don't get why they just can't figure it out on their own.
Freaking kids.
I know, right? And like cats can take care of themselves. What's wrong with kids?
Exactly.
Anyway, leave us a comment on this post about this cast. Please don't talk about my parenting skills, because I'm really not that horrible of a parent. I promise. Or don't give me parenting advice. I really hate that. But you can tell me like what you would like us to talk about on this podcast if you have any ideas, if you have any questions about strategy guides or going on in the strategy guide industry, or you can just send me an email at strategyguidereviews@gmail.com. You can follow our other podcast, which is the Evil Cast at Games Are Evil, where Chris and I drink a lot and talk about what's going on in the gaming industry. And then the other two guys just kind of like shake their heads at us. And you also follow us on Twitter, which Chris is at Starvin. I'm at Crunchy Chocobo, and the site is at Strategy Reviews. And of course, keep on reading SGR. Like Chris said, we should have a Dying Light up. I should have the Order 1886 review up this week, and I think I'm actually going to be reviewing the Dragon Age guide myself. A little late, but still done. That's all that matters, right?
Right.
And then you're going to be working on Evolve soon?
Yes. I will be purchasing that today as soon as I can put down my Demon Hunter from D3.
Yeah, I get it. Demon Hunter's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Well, that's it for now. Bye, everybody.
Later.